And I want you to know one thing. It's been a pleasure. You just like to dance, don't you, Carl?
That's right.
You like to dance. That was famous. Hello, welcome to One on One. I'm your host, Greg Walker. Hopefully you tuned in last week, show number 1 with our guest, Gary Baker. Now, Gary's a multi-talented guy, interesting man. We had a lot of fun last week, talked about his background, born in Knoxville, but he came to Clarksville in 1973, and he's been here ever since. He's the owner of SannaBlue Media, and he does a multitude of things, photography, video work. Well, today, we're going to get to the things we didn't get to last week, and I'm going to find out much more about him in a different way. I want you to settle back, relax, once again, enjoy a fun, down-to-earth conversation with a real nice gentleman. Gary Baker joins us again, show number 2, right after these words.
It's not a day you see coming. It may be sunny, or it may be gray. But it's not a day you can get ready for. And it's not a day you would trust to anyone but a friend, because it's not just a day in a lifetime, but a lifetime in a single day.
Neil Tarpley Parchman Funeral Home. People that care, a name you can trust.
Hopefully you tune in to Heartland Radio, the only locally owned, locally operated radio stations in the area. 105.1 on the FM, WVRY, and the oldest station around, 1400 AM, WJZM. Tennessee Vol Sports, Austin Peay Sports, the Atlanta Braves, news, talk, weather, and great music. Solid Gospel, 105.1 and 1400 AM, WJZM. Tune in.
The Leaf Chronicle is now available on every device you carry. Or don't carry. All things Clarksville, in all media, 24/7. Subscribe now for full access.
Welcome to our show, show number 2. Hope you tuned in last week. If you didn't, he's back. Gary Baker.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for having me.
And it's been a lot of fun.
Well, I appreciate it.
I think we had a lot of fun on our first show. Flew by, didn't it?
I really did, but I enjoyed it very much.
Think of all the things we talked about, all of your experiences since you've been in Clarksville. And you've been here since 73, so you're a Clarksvillian.
Right, and I was I'm kind of trepidatious when I get in front of a camera. Usually I'm behind the camera.
Yeah, that's
so,
true. But you're good.
Well, I don't know. That may be
debatable.
Come on,
man. You got that dry wit, good humor. You're fine on this.
I appreciate it. I didn't know that you drank or so early in the morning, but if that's fine. I appreciate it. No, I do appreciate it, Greg. Very kind of you to say.
Yeah, SannaBlue Media, also SannaBlue on YouTube. It's SannaBlue.
SannaBlue YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah.
And over 23 million. 2,300,000 views already since you've been on there.
Right.
Pretty amazing. You've worked in the newspaper business. You worked at Acme, the shoe business.
Right.
But you started in 2004, SannaBlue Media.
Right.
You've done a lot of things with it. You're into photography now.
Right.
One of the things, though, we didn't get to talk about, I want to talk about. You like to write poetry.
I do. I do like to write poetry.
Free in Fredonia by Gary Baker. Now, my wife loves it. She can't wait to get a hold of it.
Well,
right? You know that?
I hope she likes it. I wrote that, and I'm working on a new book called Still Free in Fredonia, which I thought that was pretty creative.
I agree.
And this one was such a resounding success.
I love the cover.
I sold, I don't know, 3 copies. So that really motivated me to write another edition. But
where'd you get the picture?
that picture is of my brother.
Really?
The young boy holding the shotgun on the stagecoach, and it was kind of a tribute to him. Yeah.
What type of poetry do you like to write? Just whatever comes to mind?
That's exactly it. Whatever I'm feeling at the time.
That's how you express yourself?
It is. It is. I try. If I see somebody that looks a little odd or something might happen, I start writing about it.
Where could someone buy your book, Free in Fredonia?
Well, it's not in publication, but it will be on Kindle. It'll be available in Kindle in about 2 weeks.
Really?
So if you want to download it, you can get it that way.
Well, that's neat.
And the new book will also be on Kindle. So,
Be on Kindle.
right.
Well, that's big now, isn't it?
It is big. I mean, how convenient to carry a whole library around in your pocket.
I just can't imagine. Technology has gone far. It's surpassed my thinking.
Well, when I was a kid, my parents would take me to the library, and we literally would come back with grocery sacks.
Yeah, the
full of
card
books.
catalog.
Exactly.
Who uses a card catalog?
And have books, and now on this little machine you can have the whole library with you just about. So yeah, I love it.
You love music.
I do like music. Yeah.
You're a songwriter.
Well, that's debatable, but I think that might be the term for it. I like to write songs, not serious songs. I'm not what one would call a serious musician.
No, as a matter of fact, I laughed at one of your cuts. I guess it was last night I was listening to.
Yeah. Well, I've written a few, and some of them are online where people can listen to them. If they're bored and haven't got anything else to do, they can.
What do you play? The guitar, mandolin, keyboards?
I do.
That's multi-talented.
Well,
I tried to get him to bring his guitar, but he wouldn't do it.
Well, it's one of those things. I'm not really a performer, so to speak.
I didn't say you were.
But I do like to play, spend a lot of hours relaxing, playing the guitar and trying to write a song. When I was a kid, my family, we had a little gospel band that we'd travel all over the South. And so that's where I developed a love for music.
Gospel band, huh?
Yeah.
When you were younger?
When I was a child.
Of course, his father, a Methodist minister for over 50 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it is.
How many did you have in your band?
Just family. It was my dad, mom, sister, and brother, and me.
Just sing gospel songs?
Sang gospel, travel revivals, and camp meetings.
Really?
You remember the old type camp meetings
Well,
when
sure.
there was sawdust on the,
Yeah.
we used to do that. Yeah.
I don't know if they even have revivals as much as they used to. I'm sure every church does.
I don't know. They probably need to have more.
That's true. The world we live in.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no doubt. And you, one of your other loves, you love to fish.
I love to fish. Love to fish.
Yeah.
I don't have enough. I wish I had more time to spend fishing, but when you have to work for a living, sometimes those kind of things are put on the back burner.
Well, sure. Do you have a best childhood memory?
A best childhood memory? No, nothing that comes to mind. There was one time my dad pastored a church, a little country church, way out in the country, and there were reports that a black panther was running loose throughout the woods and all the countryside. Now, you and I both know that they're black panthers, but these are country folks, and they believed it.
Right.
So one time, when I was a child, I misbehaved in church, which I never did, and my mother was going to take me outside to correct me. Now, back then, correcting means, a bop on the head or whatever.
Absolutely, spanking, whatever.
So she took me out church that night and was getting ready to lay it on me, and she heard a rustling in the woods and trees moving and all kinds of noises. Well, my mother got frightened because of the reports of this black panther, and she grabbed my arm and ran back in the church to get all the men folk. So, of course, they come running out, and they went over to where all the noise was coming. Somebody had tied a billy goat to a tree. He was out there making all that noise. So I was always thankful for that billy goat because it saved me from a beating.
She forgot to give you a spanking.
Yeah.
If you had a chance for a do-over in life, would you do much differently?
Well, I'm sure all of us have regrets, but you know, you are who you are, and your past makes you who you are.
Sure.
So I probably would be more kinder to some people, probably more loving to some people. That's probably what I would change.
You have 3 children.
I do have 3
What,
children.
2 boys?
2 boys and a girl.
She's the baby.
She is my baby. Getting ready to get married,
Mm.
which it's hard to believe. But
When does she get married?
April 30th of 2016.
April 30th, 2000.
In
Living in Houston, I think.
Houston, Texas.
Big city.
Other side of the world. You know,
As much as you love to travel.
I hate to travel,
Yeah, and so do
but
I.
I guess I'll have to put on my traveling shoes
For that one.
for that one anyway.
Now, your oldest,
He's local. He lives here. He's lived here. My middle boy lives in Chattanooga, and I think he's getting ready to move to Nashville. He's also a musician, or he is a musician. And but they're my kids. I love every one of them. I'm proud of every one of them.
do you have something you're proudest of?
Boy, you're asking some tough questions. I mean,
No, they're real questions.
didn't-
We're getting to know you.
you didn't tell me you were going to ask me this stuff. What am I proud of? I'm proud of what I've done as far as locally, technical, as far as the online video, the opportunity I have to try to help grieving families with a memorial video.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of that. I really am.
Boy, that water's good. If you think I've asked tough one, how about this one right here?
Uh-oh.
If you were president, what is the first thing you'd do?
Divorce Michelle Obama.
Why?
I don't like her.
Classic. Gary Baker, show number 2, segment 1. Segment 2 coming up right after this. What a line.
The Leaf Chronicle is now available on every device you carry or don't carry. All things Clarksville in all media 24/7. Subscribe now for full access.
Folks, for all of your financial needs, I wish you'd see my friends at First Advantage Bank. These folks have locations all around this area, and there's one close to you. New accounts? They've got several new accounts. One could be perfect for you. Go by, see them, check out their new accounts, see if you don't feel at home. At First Advantage Bank, they're a member of FDIC. They're an equal housing lender. Our guest is Gary Baker. This is show number 2. Gary was on last week. We've had him back. We're getting a little deeper and finding out more about him. And interesting, you said if you were president, first thing you'd do is divorce Michelle Obama. But during the break, you brought up some good points. That man lives with her, his mother-in-law, and 2 daughters.
Not really.
That's tough. Isn't it?
That would be tough for anybody. It sure would be.
He may be getting a lot of advice.
Oh, you know he's getting advice. You know it. What woman do you know that's not going to give you advice or try to tell you what to do?
Never met one.
There you go. It's in the DNA.
What is a perfect day like for you?
Just like you starting the day out on the deck with a cup of coffee.
Boy, that's a good morning.
Sitting there and thinking about how blessed I am, and how blessed the people that I know and love are. That's the way I start the day. And then, from then, it depends on what your schedule is. If you work, you work. And if you have time to play, you play.
That's it. That's good. Do you have anyone that you go to for advice?
You know, I really can't think of anyone that I specifically go to. Of
You
course,
are blessed that you still have your parents living.
I do, and if there's anything, you know, any problems in life I run into, I can always call my dad. He's always got an answer.
I bet.
Now I may not agree with what he says, but he'll put his 2 cents in. But he would probably be the one.
Do you ever get asked any questions that you hate to answer?
Other than that one,
If that's the toughest you get, you're pretty lucky.
I'm kind of a private guy. I think, you know, sometimes that, you know, and nobody really wants anybody getting in their business. But no, other than being private, I'm still pretty open.
What do you think's your greatest strength, and what is your greatest weakness as a person?
I listen to people. I think I'm a good listener. Now, I'm sure there are countless women that are probably are rolling in the floor laughing when they see or hear this. But I do. I care about what people think and what they say. You know, I don't like bullies. I don't like people that, you know, pick on other people that are smaller or weaker than me.
Amen.
Having been a preacher's kid and moving around when I was small, you know, and being a small physically person, I knew bullies very well.
Really?
Because I was always a new kid on the block.
And you were bullied?
Oh yeah, well sure. Bullying was a way of life back then, and
You know, you're right. It was a lot of that.
and in some ways, even though as terrible as it is, I have to thank some of those bullies, because there comes a point in time when you got to stand up.
You have had enough.
You've had enough. You have to stand up for yourself.
You did.
And it's called, I guess, developing a backbone. And you know, and I hope that there's no one that's ever bullied. But I think if you're going to look at the positive side of it, if there's a good thing to bullying, it makes people stand up and get some backbone.
Yeah, that's
Plus,
a good way to
I
look
had,
at
I was a smart aleck kid, so I had a mouth that was constantly running. So I mean, I'd get beaten up all the time. So,
Well, at least you're honest.
oh yeah, I mean, I try to be honest.
Is there something you've always wanted?
I can't think of anything off. I'd like to have a better fishing boat.
You're pretty lucky if you've got one.
Yeah. Other than that, I like I say, I'm blessed. God has been good to me, and so, you know, I have everything I need.
Have you ever, did you ever have a hero growing up?
Sure.
Let's hear.
Tarzan.
Tarzan was your hero?
Oh, Tarzan, Roy Rogers.
I'll be dog.
I grew up, my grandfather.
Johnny Weissmuller was great.
He was. And he was the Tarzan.
Oh,
Gordon McRae and all these other guys.
Oh, it's Johnny Weissmuller.
Jock Mahoney, they didn't they didn't compare to Johnny Weissmuller.
He had the best looking Jane too.
He did. Can't remember her name at the time, but that Western here, I grew up on Western television, watching Cowboys and Indians on
we all
Saturday
did.
morning.
Sure.
So Roy Rogers and Gene Autry and Hopalong Cassidy and Lash LaRue and all those guys,
Yeah,
you know, when
absolutely.
they were riding and shooting, I was right there with them. And I had an opportunity to meet Roy Rogers later on in life, and it was one of the highlights of my life.
That's great stuff.
Yeah.
You know, back when I was doing Austin P basketball, there was a guy on another team, or on a team we were playing, named Dale Evans.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And so I said I had Patrick Miller here, and I had David Luce, of course, working with me. And I said, you know, old Nellie Bell and Roy Rogers with Dale Evans. And they looked at me, they didn't even know who I was
Isn't that
talking
something?
about.
What a shame.
That's another generation.
Oh, yeah.
They had no idea what
Don't
I
have a
was
clue.
talking. Didn't
Don't
have a clue.
Yeah.
Now, some people listening and some people there in the arena they couldn't believe they didn't. But that's the age difference.
That is big
Well,
difference.
I bet you remember Howdy Doody.
Of course. Yeah,
You
it's
know.
Howdy Doody time.
Yeah,
That's right.
Spin and Marty.
That's right.
On the Mickey Mouse show.
Captain Kangaroo.
Captain Kangaroo.
Yeah, all those
Mr.
shows.
Green Jeans.
Oh yeah, all those shows.
Yeah.
But the westerns, that was a
Oh,
genre.
they were.
Oh yeah.
Half Gun Will Travel.
That's right, Richard
Paladin.
Gunn. Richard
Yeah.
Gunn, yeah.
You know, Oh, who was the one wanted dead or alive?
Steve McQueen. That's what that gun he had.
Yeah, that was
fabulous.
neat, wasn't it?
Yeah, those are my kind of humors.
Well, you know.
Laramie, Wagon Train.
Yes.
You could go on and on and on.
Yes, sir. Rawhide.
That's right. Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood got his start. What is the weirdest thing about you?
Sometimes I think that I think differently than other people. I see the world a little bit differently from my own perspective. Sometimes people don't understand my perspective. I don't know what I could attribute that to. It's either the DNA or I did see a UFO back in the 80s.
You did?
Yeah, so occasionally I still have blackouts and forget where I am, but
Now, are we telling the truth?
I'm serious. I did see a UFO back in the 80s, and I wasn't drunk and I wasn't on drugs. And
Well, what happened? You got to tell me this.
I was driving Highway 79 North late one night, and I topped a rise, and when I topped the rise, there was this object that was hovering over the road with lights flashing.
Right.
It was, other than that, it was pitch black. And of course, I slowed my car down.
Wasn't a helicopter.
No, my window was down. There was absolutely no sound whatsoever. So I slowed my car down. You know, what is that?
Yeah.
And the whole time I'm slowing down, this thing is hovering over the road. It's huge. It was a huge object. And
When you say huge, how big?
well,
Was it a saucer shape?
I wouldn't say it was really a saucer shape. A cigar shape, maybe.
Really?
It might have been saucer shape. It's been a long time ago, but it's still, I still remember it. And the whole time, my heart's like boom, 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 boom. You know. And as I got closer, it moved from hovering over the road to the pasture that was parallel to the road.
Right.
And the whole time, my heart's beating. I wasn't afraid. There was absolutely. It was more of excitement.
Yeah.
It was more curiosity.
Right.
And like I said, my window was down. There was absolutely no sound. It was not a helicopter. It was not an airplane. It was not a balloon.
Gotcha.
I don't know what it was.
In this vast galaxy, why should we be the only form of life?
Exactly. That's the way I feel.
That's the way I feel.
I mean, it's kind of egotistical thing.
Even if you believe in God or if you don't, why would he stop here?
Exactly. You're right.
You know,
You're exactly right.
He's God. He's gonna.
I can't believe I told that story. Most of the time I tell it,
some
people look at me like,
but I don't. Because I actually, and I've never seen one, but I actually have watched enough, read enough, that I think I'd be naive not to believe there wasn't some other form.
I think there's something out there.
I do too.
And, so.
I'm with you, so if you're crazy, I am.
Okay, well, welcome to the club.
But I didn't see it. You did. Stretch Run, show number 2. It's been fun right after this.
Mommy, will Grandma have on a pretty dress like mine?
Yes, dear. She will look very pretty.
Will Grandma have pretty flowers like mine?
Yes, dear. She loves flowers, and she will have many.
Will Grandpa be okay?
He is being well taken care of.
Neil Tarpley Parchman Funeral Home. People that care, a name you can trust.
Folks, if it's round, if it's rubber, and if it rolls, they have it at Clarksville Tire Center, 129 Terminal Road. That's right across from Governor Square Mall off Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. Tires to even fit your little red wagon. Barbara Ratchford, she is one sweet lady, and her whole staff. They're going to take care of you. They'll suit all of your needs. They can do it all at Clarksville Tire. Visit them. You'll be glad you did, and you'll save some money. 129 Terminal Road. This is show number 2. Our guest the last 2 weeks, Gary Baker. And it's been a lot of fun. And he's an interesting guy. What I like about you, you're straight, down to earth. You answer the question. And not many people would have admitted they saw a UFO. I love that. No, listen to me. We were talking about, hey, I believe in God. You believe in God. Steve believes. But if you believe in God, you can't believe this is all that he's created.
Exactly.
In my opinion.
I totally agree with you. That's true.
What is the best advice Gary Baker's ever received?
Oh, my goodness. I guess the best advice I got from my grandfather, he lived to be 103 years old.
Ooh.
He was a very, very wise man.
Amen.
But he used to give me little bits of advice here and there. One was, don't take any wooden nickels. Another one was, don't step on any dead snakes. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's probably the best advice I get. People try to advise. When most of the time when you're younger, you're not going to listen to them. Advice. Everybody's got advice.
Absolutely.
But
some's better than others.
That's true. That's true. If you listen and pay
if you
attention
listen.
to it. Yeah.
What do you think is the truest sign of success?
If you're happy.
That is success, isn't it?
I've met a lot of people that they may have not had all the worldly goods, but they were rich because they had family or they were happy.
Yeah.
So I think if you're content and happy, you can consider yourself to be a success. And if you take care of your family.
You're blessed.
Yes.
You are blessed. What characteristic do you admire most in a person?
Ooh. In any particular setting or just in general? I like people that are straight and are honest. I like people, when I talk to them, they look you in the eye. That's what I like.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Let's go over some favorites. We only got about a minute and a half.
All right.
Favorite food?
Ooh, it's got to be beef stroganoff.
Really?
Yeah, I love it.
Drink?
Coffee.
Really? Music?
Bluegrass.
Favorite place?
Favorite place? Any place where there's water and wildlife, and I like the outdoors.
That sets you free.
It sets you free, exactly. I like the country.
You like movies?
I do like movies. A lot of the movies that are out nowadays, it's hard for me to relate to, but I like old movies.
Yeah. Can you believe they're going to try to do a remake of the Godfather trilogy?
I hadn't heard that, but it's a shame.
Yeah, that's awful, isn't it? Doesn't even make sense.
No. I got upset.
You can't remake that classic.
No, it's just like they remade The Lone Ranger. What are you trying to do?
Yeah. Tonto wasn't the Tonto we knew, was he? No. Gary, it's been
Greg,
it's been fun.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're a good man.
Appreciate it.
And I appreciate you visiting with us.
More than welcome.
Gary Baker, SannaBlue Media. Go to SannaBlue.
Check me out on Facebook. That's where you can find me. Gary Baker on Facebook.
Check him out.
That's right.
I want to thank Steve Sawyer, most of all, those of you that tune in. For yours truly, Greg Walker, the team, until next time, have a nice rest of the day, folks.